You know that moment when an email arrives from a client and you read it and steam just comes out of your ears? They love your work, but they don't actually want to pay for it, or not very much. And they say, well, it won't take you long, will it? That's one of my favourites, for someone who doesn't actually know how to do that job. When I was a freelance graphic designer, I used to get emails like that all the time. Back then we didn't have AI, so I couldn't reply to it diplomatically without using my own words, which aren't always that tactful. But now I know exactly how I would do it. I would just get ChatGPT to help me. So before I paste this email in, I want to show you something worth doing first. I've actually put together a simple document with a few examples of my own writing. I've used some of my old newsletters. So click the plus button and then add photos and files. Upload the sample document of writing. Now this should make it sound more like I wrote it. You want it to sound like you, just a more tactful version of the current hot-headed version of yourself. Now I'm going to paste in the email and give ChatGPT clear instructions. So I've written, please help me write a diplomatic response to this email. I want to decline the job but keep the relationship on good terms. Use UK spelling. I've uploaded some samples of how I write. Please read those first to match my tone. Before you draft anything, ask me any questions you need. Then at the end, I've pasted in the email. So you can see how it says that it's analysed my writing tone. It says friendly and conversational, calm and reasonable rather than confrontational, direct but not blunt, slightly reflective, sometimes humorous, not overly formal or corporate. So it has taken into account those writing samples that we uploaded, which is great. And it's also now asking us some questions, such as it wants me to clarify if I still want the job, if it's at my price rather than theirs. It wants to know if I want to keep the door left open for future work, and whether I want to mention anything about that really annoying line where they say it won't take long. So I'll give my answers back and see what it comes back with. And you can see it's come back with a decent email, but it's not quite what I want. I want to keep the door open for doing the work at my price rather than cutting off the conversation. And remember, you're not stuck with the first response that you get. It might not quite sound like you, or the tone might not be what you want. So you can keep on tweaking it to get it exactly right. So I'm going to say, can we word it so that if she decides that she will go with the £400, I will do the work? And ChatGPT's response still isn't quite what I want, so I'm going to ask it to be more friendly. You can see how you're actually working quite collaboratively with ChatGPT. It's like a conversation where it gives you its idea of what you might want, and then you say, well, that's not quite right, and just tweak it. So it might take a bit of to-in and fro-in to get it just right, and then just have a quick check over, and then quickly, before you change your mind, hit send and wait for the response. I think being firm with a client is always tricky, especially if you want an ongoing relationship. But luckily, kind of with ChatGPT, you end up with something that is much more diplomatic than I would be. I'm not known for my tact. Luckily, my sidekick, ChatGPT, is. If you like AI tips like this, I have a newsletter that I send out every week. You get the link below, and I will see you in the next one.